I come in the room and there's so many envelopes with VHS or Super 8 or... So then it became quite scary because, you've got to look at it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff to look at. You like going blind, fast forward, that looks good, not good.
Very interesting.
But you also have so many options, of how you could do it when you have that much material, that it's quite intimidating. So I was like really searching for a way of organizing it, And in the end, I had just a very simple idea of showing the weekend, the day, the sun coming up, sun going down, but then make the weekend last for 35 years, kind of. So I had a double time scale, which was quite nice. Because it's really a way of seeing the changes in people's attitudes to themselves as well as the world over 35 years. A huge change, obviously, in technology and politics, but the people's perception of themselves has changed really hugely as well. They're much more self-conscious about who they are than they used to be. Much more worried about what other people think of them. They're probably, more, they know more shit, but probably not so good, I always liked, in the film Glastonbury, you see the people walking in the 1970 festival, they got no shoes, they just got their jeans, they walk in. And now you see them, some naked, and now you see them coming in and they got a washing machine, they got a fridge, they got like all this beer. It's really weird.
A super tent.
Yeah.
In the case of Oil City Confidential and Madness film, there's something very interesting that in both cases you use this character that is the narrator of the film, and it's like the connection between the audience, I think, and the story you're telling. Do you like directing actors?
Yeah, I do. It depends on the actor.
Yeah, I can
Some
imagine.
of them are real pain in the ass, and I get very alienated by if you don't have a very relaxed relationship with an actor, I think it can be quite difficult. But if you get to understand what you're doing together, then it's easy. It's like doing an interview like this, just do it.
What was the biggest challenge in the Madness?
Well, it was really
very
to
interesting because you used three sceneries.
Yeah, I was trying to film this little bit of London where we were editing before they knocked it down. They've knocked it down now. Tottenham Court Road, Tube Station, and this beautiful alleyway next to it, Falkenberg Place, which is one of the magic places of London. They knocked down for this new rail. So that was a challenge, to go out at lunchtime and try and film.
This is the last
days of Tottenham Court Road.
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, it's very much a film about London. In a way, most of my films are about London, in a way. Yeah. Canby Island is like the nearest beach to London. They're all very London, the people in Canby Island. More London than the ones left in London, actually. So I think, you're fascinated with your own culture, I guess. I am.
Do you give an important role to the narrator of the stories?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Wilco in Oil City is the key guy, and you journey through the film through his life, his experience. But I try and make them quite dramatic construction, so that you try and really emotionally engage an audience. Even though it's a documentary, it can have a power of a fictional drama, maybe. I like it. People were crying at the end of the Joe film, and that made me proud of doing something that moved them like that.
Yeah. And just to end this interview, can you tell us a little bit about your experience with Sid Vicious and the Sex Pistols? It's a huge story, but how do you feel after all these years? I mean, surely your opinion about all this big band So with a short time of life, surely must have been changing in these years, or not? How do you feel about that?
I suppose it has changed. Yeah, I don't like it being nostalgia. You see, I don't want to make a film for the sake of wallowing in the past. I just think it's still a moment, socially, culturally, that is useful for the future. There's still a challenge in what happened then for kids today. So I try and explain some of the reasons behind it, but also the possibilities that thinking in that kind of way can bring a different world in a funny way. Not in a conventional political way, but in a sense of you can change your surroundings if you want to. People forget they have that power. They've been told you can't change anything. Yeah. And they somehow accept this, which is really stupid. Anyway, Sid Vicious, it's weird seeing him, 30 years, whatever, later. He always said, I'm going to be dead before I'm 21, and we'd like laugh. Oh, you're very funny, Sid. And then
it wasn't a joke.
No, it wasn't a joke. So it's very strange for me too to, walk through the ruins of the car factories in Detroit and see Sid Vicious. I go to Valparaiso, I see Sid Vicious everywhere.
Yep.
I mean, he's a very important figure globally, weirdly. And what I remember is this kid, the big problem was getting him out of bed. Wake up, Sid, you're going to film you. And then I would always have a bag of sweets, candy, because he has a sweet tooth. So if I wanted to do something, I'd say, hey, Sid, have a sweet.
Have a candy.
And then you do what you want, for 5 minutes, then you need another one. But he was a very charismatic guy. I mean, he was a mixture of being completely like a noble savage, no inhibitions. Weird guy. But he was also a clever guy. He was not stupid. People think he was stupid, but he wasn't.
You have like a big, huge amount of work, audiovisual work. Which videos, films, or documentaries do you feel more proud about?
I don't really think about them as individual things. You think about it as one piece of work, really. I'd like to show these music films all together once. What I feel I like, which was kind of an accident, but I had a style of like mashing up random images from different places, just quite random, and making some interesting sense by crashing them together. That was something that I did early on with the Sex Pistols when we had no money. We would just film the television, take it, reinvent it, chop it up. And now I see that happening a lot on the internet, and that's something I feel proud of having done that.
Great. Okay, Julien, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Hola, estamos acá en el Teatro en el Café de las Artes y vamos a conversar con Cristian Pascual, el director del Inédit Barcelona y Mundial. Hola, Cristian.